Did you know some .22 long rifles that used to collect dust on pawn shop shelves are now selling for over $1,500 on the collector market? The same lightweight rimfires once seen as cheap squirrel guns are turning into high-demand investments fast, and the ones with serious firepower, they're disappearing the quickest. In today's video, we're counting down 20 of the deadliest .22 long rifles that are set to explode in value, starting with one that's so overlooked, most collectors still don't realize what it's capable of. Stevens Model 66. The Stevens Model 66 is one of those rifles that never made headlines, but quietly earned its place in thousands of barns and closets. Built during the mid-20th century, this bolt-action .22 long rifle was rugged, affordable, and surprisingly accurate for the price. It could chamber short, long, and long rifle cartridges, giving it flexibility that many shooters appreciated. The hardwood stocks were plain but solid. These rifles were built to be used, and most of them were, which makes clean, original examples harder to find every year. Today, collectors are eyeing pre-serial versions and early production units. Even worn rifles are gaining traction at auctions, with mint-condition pieces nudging past $400. It's a kind of sleeper gun investors are starting to notice. Number 19. Cooey Model 60. The Cooey Model 60 is a Canadian classic built with dependable simplicity and a purpose-first mindset. Produced from the late 1940s into the 1970s, this bolt-action rimfire was chambered in .22 long rifle and featured a 10-round detachable magazine and a sturdy walnut stock. It was designed to be affordable, reliable, and easy to maintain for hunt and pluck small game or teach new shooters. What makes it stand out now is its growing recognition among collectors. Many of the surviving examples were heavily used in the field. Left battered and forgotten, clean, unaltered rifles with original finish and magazine systems are increasingly rare. Because Cooey never built the same numbers as major U.S. manufacturers for export, some models are already commanding significant premiums, making the Model 60 a compelling value play for anyone watching future rimfire investments. Number 18. Stevens Whippet Model C. The Stevens Whippet Model C is a ghost among rimfire rifles, rarely seen, barely documented, but whispered about in collector circles. Built in limited numbers during the early 20th century, it was a single-shot .22 designed for portability and simplicity. Its most notable feature, a short barrel and ultra-lightweight frame, making it perfect for trappers, farmers, or anyone who needed a no-nonsense tool in the field. But its bare-bones nature worked against its survival. Most were used hard, handed down, or modified, and very few complete, original examples remain today. If you stumble upon one with matching numbers, an untouched walnut stock, and intact bluing, don't hesitate. Whippets in mint condition now fetch north of $800, with prices climbing steadily as more collectors wake up to how scarce this model really is. Number 17. Stevens Ideal Ladies Model 56. Originally built with elegance in mind, the Stevens Ideal Ladies Model number 56 was never meant to be a battlefield rifle. This single-shot .22 long rifle was marketed in the early 1900s toward women and younger shooters, featuring a lighter frame, compact dimensions, and graceful lines that made it easy to handle and easy to love. But what makes this rifle deadly in today's collector market is its rarity and pristine form. Many featured case-hardened receivers, delicate engraving, and polished walnut stocks. Details that were often overlooked at the time but now command premium prices. Most surviving rifles show their age, with cracked wood or missing hardware. But mint, untouched examples with original finishes and factory engraving, those are being snapped up fast, sometimes crossing $1,500. It's the kind of rifle that once was charming, now is pure gold. Number 16, Winchester Model 72. The Winchester Model 72 is one of those rifles that quietly stood in the shadows of its more famous siblings, but collectors are finally starting to give it the respect it deserves. Produced between 1938 and the late 1950s, this bolt-action .22 long rifle was known for its silky smooth action, consistent accuracy, and durable steel receiver. It could cycle .22 short, long, and long rifle rounds, making it incredibly versatile for the era. The classic walnut stock, combined with groove trigger guard and pre-war craftsmanship, give it a kind of nostalgic appeal investors love. For decades, it was seen as a no-frill shooter, but not anymore. Clean rifles with original finish and matching sights are now trending upwards of $800, with mint specimens closing in on four figures. It's a sleeper Winchester, but not for long. Number 15, Martin Model 80. The Martin Model 80 is a reminder that even budget rifles can evolve into serious collectibles. Produced from the 1930s into the early 1960s, this bolt-action .22 long rifle gained popularity for its reliability, simplicity, and accuracy. It featured Marlin's innovative micro-groove rifling, which provided better spin stability and made it unusually precise. For its price point, most were used as everyday shooters, backyard plinkers, farm guns, or beginner trainers. Because of this, finding one in pristine condition with original sights, stock finish, and clean barrel is becoming a real challenge. Early pre-war production rifles with factory peep sights are the ones investors are chasing. In just a few years, prices for well-kept examples have doubled, with top-tier condition rifles now selling for $600 or more. Number 14, Ultra-High 2200 Japanese import. The Ultra-High 2200 is a hidden gem from Japan's golden era of precision manufacturing. Built during the 1960s and 70s by Marokyu, this bolt-action .22 long rifle was imported in small numbers and flew under the radar for decades. What sets it apart is its exceptional craftsmanship. Mirror deep bluing, finely checkered hardwood stocks, and buttery smooth bolt action that rivals European makes. These rifles were often mistaken for sporting rifles twice their price, yet most were bought as utility shooters. Today, collectors are scrambling to find early imports that still bear Japanese markings, factory manuals, and boxes. Because of their limited distribution and top-tier build quality, values have quietly surged. Pristine examples with matching serials and untouched wood are now trading between $700 and $1,200 and climbing. This is one import that won't stay underpriced for long. Number 13, BSA Best Quality Bolt Action. The BSA Best Quality .22 Bolt Action rifle is British craftsmanship at its finest, and is finally getting the global recognition it deserves. Built with hand-fitted precision in Birmingham, these rifles weren't mass-produced or built on the cheap. They were custom-ordered by sportsmen and target shooters who valued refinement over flash. Each one came with a richly blued finish, finely checkered walnut stock, and a bolt mechanism smoother than many center fires of its time. Chambered in .22 long rifle, they were used for small game and paper punching, but most saw minimal abuse. Because BSA exported only a fraction of these rifles to the U.S., they've remained elusive on the market. But that's changing fast. Today, clean, original examples with iron sights and factory engraving can fetch $1,200 or more, with top-tier rifles heading into serious collector territory. Number 12, Remington Model 572 Fieldmaster. The Remington Model 572 Fieldmaster is the kind of rifle that sparks instant nostalgia for anyone who grew up shooting pump actions. Introduced in 1954, it was Remington's modernized take on their earlier slide-action .22s. What made it stand out was its ability to cycle .22 short, long, and long rifle rounds interchangeably, along with its lightweight aluminum receiver and classic American styling. The walnut stocks on early models featured rich grain and tight checkering, especially on the B-grade variants, while many shooters still use them today. It's the early runs, clean, blued steel models with original sights, that collectors are eyeing. Boxed or engraved store editions are bringing in $900 to $1,100, and values keep rising, with more people realizing the craftsmanship behind this once affordable plinker. The Fieldmaster's days as a cheap rifle are long gone. Number 11. Marlin Model 780. The Marlin Model 780 was designed to be a modern upgrade, and it hit the sweet spot between old-school craftsmanship and updated usability. Produced from the late 1960s into the 1980s, this bolt-action .22 long rifle featured Marlin's signature micro-groove rifling, a detachable box magazine, and a sleek walnut stock that gave it a refined look without a premium price tag. It was known for its out-of-the-box accuracy and smooth cycling, which made it a favorite among hunters and paper punchers alike. Today, collectors seek out rifles with the bullseye, stock emblem, and matching factory sights. Since Marlin's acquisition and production changes under Remington, original 780s have become harder to source. Clean examples now trade between $700 and $1,000, and mint rifles in factory packaging, those are vanishing fast from gun shows and auctions alike. Number 10. Winchester Model 1906. The Winchester Model 1906 is a pump-action .22 that brings the Wild West straight to your hands. First introduced in, you guessed it, 1906. This rifle was designed for durability, speed, and fun. It quickly became one of America's favorite small game and youth training rifles. Chambered to fire .22 short, long, and long rifle rounds, it featured a slick takedown frame, exposed hammer, and smooth slide action that made it feel faster than it was. Early models with octagonal barrels and case-hardened receivers are especially valuable. These rifles were used heavily for decades, so finding one with original parts and unmolested wood is a challenge. Prices for well-preserved 1906s are now topping $1,200, with deluxe variants climbing even higher. It's a true Winchester legend, and demand hasn't even peaked yet. Number 9. Winchester Model 61. The Winchester Model 61 is one of the finest pump-action .22s ever made. Sleek, smooth, and still turning heads at the range. Produced between 1932 and 1963, it replaced the earlier Model 62 with a more modern profile and a streamlined receiver. It retained Winchester's iconic takedown design, making it easier to transport and clean. It was built with a kind of precision machining that the brand was known for in its golden era. The Model 61 could chamber .22 short, long, and long rifle, and later even .22 WMR. The Magnum variant's extremely valuable. Early models with grooved receivers and factory scope blocks are especially sought after. Depending on condition, prices now range from $900 to $1,600, with boxed examples moving even higher as demand grows. Number 8. AMT Lightning 2222. The AMT Lightning 2222 might look familiar because it's a stainless steel clone of the Ruger 1022. But this wasn't just a copy, it was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Manufactured by Arcadia Machine and Tool in California during the 1980s, the Lightning featured a full stainless receiver, target barrel, and often shipped with folding or tactical stocks that gave it a radical look for the time. It was rugged, accurate, and surprisingly popular, until Ruger sued AMT for copying their design. That legal pressure shut down production fast, which is exactly why these rifles are so rare today. Collectors hunt for models with original high-capacity mags and factory markings. Clean examples have doubled in price over the last few years, now ranging from $900 to $1,400. It's the outlaw version of a legend, and investors love that story. Number 7. High Standard Gallery and Parlor Rifle. If you've ever seen an ornate little .22 rifle with nickel plating and delicate engraving, chances are it was a high standard gallery or parlor model. These rifles were designed for early 20th century indoor shooting galleries, the kind you'd find at carnivals, arcades, or private clubs. Chambered in .22 short or .22 long rifle, they were built for low recoil, high accuracy, and a touch of flair. Some even came with special markings for amusement parks, making each one a unique collectible. Because they were heavily used, often rented out, and shot by the hundreds each day. Very few survived in good shape. But when you do find one with original finishes and factory serials, expect prices over $1,000, sometimes much higher for decorated variants. These aren't just guns, they're relics of forgotten American leisure. Number 6, CZ-452. The CZ-452 has quietly become one of the most respected bolt-action rimfire rifles in the world. Produced in the Czech Republic from the late 1950s through the early 2000s, it gained a cult following among target shooters and hunters who valued European precision without the European price tag. Built with forged steel receivers, hammer-forged barrels, and gorgeous walnut stocks, the 452 offered out-of-the-box accuracy that rivaled custom rifles. It came in several variants: American, Lux, Scout, each tailored for different use cases. What collectors want now are the discontinued pre-2005 models with iron sights and checkered wood. Prices for clean examples have jumped from $300 to $800 in recent years, with rare configurations hitting over $1,000. As more shooters realize how good this rifle really is, the demand only keeps rising. Number 5, Remington Model 12C. The Remington Model 12C is a masterpiece from the early 1900s, blending mechanical reliability with ornate design in a way that few rimfires ever have. This pump-action .22 was part of the original Model 12 series, but the C variant stood out thanks to its octagonal barrel, deluxe checkering, and tight wood-to-metal fit. It could chamber .22 short, long, and long rifle, making it highly versatile. These rifles were built when craftsmanship mattered. Many feature case-hardened receivers and factory engraving, because they were often handed down through generations. Finding a fully intact 12C with matching numbers and clean bore is a serious score. Current prices for lightly worn rifles are hitting $1,500 to $1,800, while mint or engraved models regularly clear the $2,000 mark. This is one of those rifles where age equals gold. Number 4, Remington Model 597. At first glance, the Remington Model 597 might not seem like a future collectible, but it's quickly becoming one. Released in the late 1990s as Remington's answer to the Ruger 1022, this semi-auto .22 long rifle featured a unique dial rail bolt guidance system, giving it impressive reliability and accuracy. While it was mass-produced, most were used hard, especially during the golden age of affordable rimfire fun. What changed? Remington went bankrupt, and the 597 was quietly discontinued. Now, collectors are hunting for early production rifles, especially smooth trigger models and unfired boxed units. As aftermarket parts dry up and nostalgia kicks in, values are jumping fast. Clean examples that once sold for under $250 are now clearing $600, with early models climbing even higher. It's a modern sleeper that's no longer sleeping. Number 3, Winchester Model 52. The Winchester Model 52 isn't just a .22 rifle, it's a legend in the rimfire world. First introduced in 1919, it was considered the gold standard for precision .22 long rifle shooting for decades. But like a Swiss watch, the Model 52 featured a heavy barrel, machined steel receiver, and a buttery smooth bolt that made it a favorite on competitive firing lines. Over the years, Winchester released several versions, A through D, each refining the rifle's performance and appeal. Shooters loved its two-stage trigger and iron sight accuracy. But today, collectors are chasing originality. Pre-war rifles with full-length stocks and factory target sights are especially prized. Prices now range from $1,500 to $2,500 for clean, untouched models. If you want old-school precision and proven collector value, this is the one. Number 2, Ruger 7722. The Ruger 7722 was Ruger's precision-built bolt-action answer to their wildly popular 1022. and for a while it flew completely under the radar. Introduced in the late 1980s, it shared styling cues with Ruger's centerfire Model 77, but was chambered in .22 long rifle, .22 WMR, and even .22 Hornet. It featured a cold hammer-forged barrel, rotary magazine, and a rock-solid steel receiver that delivered serious accuracy. Hunters loved it for its rugged performance in the field, but production quietly ended in the early 2000s, and that's when interest started climbing. Today, the .22 long rifle variants are gaining collector momentum, especially early paddle stock models or rifles in mint condition. Prices have jumped into the $900 to $1,300 range, and demand hasn't slowed down. This is the Ruger bolt gun everyone regrets not buying sooner. Number 1. Ruger 1022 Patriot Flag Camo Edition. Taking the top spot is a modern classic with serious collector heat. The Ruger 1022 Patriot Flag Camo Edition. This isn't your average plinker. Ruger built this semi-auto .22 long rifle as a limited-run tribute to American pride, featuring a bolt, stars and stripes camo stock, laser-engraved receiver, and commemorative serial markings. Under the hood is still the same reliable rotary mag system and smooth blowback action that made the 1022 a household name. But the finish, that's what turns heads, and it's exactly why prices are climbing. Factory-sealed rifles with matching boxes are steadily selling between $700 and $1,000, and they're getting harder to find every month. It's not just a patriotic shooter, it's a flag-wrapped investment. And right now, it's leading the charge in modern rimfire collectibles. Check out our next video where we reveal the deadliest bullet in the U.S.